Hello everyone. First, I am Iranian. I had to pick a very special place to tell you the story of Jackie, the love of my life. This was Jackie. Jackie one night called me. I remember that night so well. Imagine me, the immigrant. I came to America when I was 13 and a half. I embraced the American lifestyle, and opposites attract. I was dark hair, dark eyes, and Jackie had hazel eyes and dirty blonde hair. Just take a look at how beautiful she is. And she knew it too. And her mother also liked me a whole bunch. Her mother used to always tell me, I don't know what you've done to my daughter, but you will never find somebody who loves you as much as she does. And you know, she was right, because I never found anybody that liked me half as much as Jackie did. Jackie knew how beautiful she is. She had hazel eyes and natural dirty blonde hair. She always used to tell me, when we have our kids, I hope they look like me and they have your brains. That's how much she trusted me. She was in love with me and I was in love with her. Jackie and I were like two peas in a pod. Here is a pea. This was Jackie, and this one was me, and this is the pod. We were in love, and I dated her for 5 years. I was in another world. Here is this girl, all American girl, and she liked me, the immigrant, and more importantly, her family liked me. You see, her father was a Los Angeles County sheriff, and he had 2 big guns. And her mother worked for US government in the VA system. Her mother gave me an antique stove, a wall telephone that I just refinished, and I hope you like it. It is gorgeous. Also, she gave me an old antique telephone that you set on your desk. We did a lot of things together, Jackie and I. You see, I gave her a green Nova, and we took the Nova and we went across United States. We went to Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, South Dakota, North Dakota. What a beautiful country we live in. Something happened with Jackie that I need to tell you, and maybe we could learn a lesson or two from what happened to me. When we were traveling across United States, we would drive about 8 hours, 9 hours a day. Then we would get a hotel or a motel, sleep for 8, 10 hours, and then we would get up the next day and go to the next town. We went to a town that I'd never even heard of. We rented a motel on the first floor. We rented the motel, and it was about 7 o'clock at night, and it was dark out. We went inside the motel room, and after 15 minutes, somebody knocked on the door. I opened the door, and a guy told me that, hey man, my guys were here today fixing that window across the room. Can I check it? I let him in because I didn't think anything. He walked inside and he opened the curtains on that window and slit the window up and down. He told me everything is okay, and he closed the curtains and he walked out. 15, 20 minutes later, there was a little table right by the window. I was sitting on a chair doing paperwork or something, I don't remember. All of a sudden, I saw a shadow in the window. You see, he had left the curtain open on the bottom. Jackie was so beautiful that he wanted to see her undress. I, sitting at the table, looked at the light behind my head, and I told myself that this can't be my shadow. All of a sudden, the guy moved. I saw his face move in the window. Then I realized this is a peeping Tom. I went ahead, opened the window, and I yelled, "You son of a bitch!" And the guy started running. I kept pretending like I'm gonna crawl out of the window and kick his butt. To be honest with you, I was very scared, but I pretended like that to get rid of the guy. Jackie and I did everything together. We were in love. One time, I found a desolate highway as we were traveling across America. I saw on the side of the road there is a mile sign on the ground. Another car had hit the mile sign, and the mile sign was laying on the ground. I told Jackie, "Get out, let me see that sign." I took that sign, and here is that sign. I have it in my driveway to remind me of Jackie. During that era was the era that people used to stand on the side of the road and stick their thumb out to get a ride wherever they were going. You better not do that today. I told Jackie, I said, "Jackie, I'm gonna take off all of my clothes and you take off your clothes, and we're gonna stand on the side of the highway and hitchhike so it looks like we're hitchhiking, all for fun." Now that I look at the picture, that wasn't a fair deal, because I took off all of my clothes and Jackie only took off her top. Jackie was very modest. What a good girl. So we were living a dream life. I mean, a dream. Then the revolution happened in Iran, and my family, just like all the other Iranian families, escaped the government in Iran in the 80s, early 80s. Thank you to all the countries that accepted all the immigrants. Thank you. I was in love with Jackie, but my sister and my mother had other plans for me. They tried in every which way to break us up. All they would do is poison our lives every single day. I deserve more than that. I don't know what I did wrong, but I was living the American dream. You see, when I came to America at age 13 and a half from Iran in 1970, the minute I got in the airport and touched land in the United States, at the airport they told me, boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl, boys marries girl, girl has baby, they fall in love and grow their family. But that wasn't the story of my life. Later on, my mother picked a girl, Iranian girl, for me to marry. I told my mother, I said, "Mom, I'm not in love with this girl. I've only known her 2-3 months." My mother told me love will come later. Problem is, love never came, and I ended up divorcing her without any kids after 2 years of being married to her. Jackie was again my partner. Jackie was something that I looked forward to every day. 2 peas in 1 pod. And again, I never found a girl that loved me as much as she did, or find a relationship that was as fun as when I dated Jackie. Jackie was a very romantic person. For my birthday, she would get me these banners that had love, a heart at the beginning. Then they would say, "Happy birthday." Jackie also would send me cards right and left. I don't know what this means, but she got that for me. Let me show you her signature. Love, Jackie. My favorite card that Jackie got me was this one right here. On the front, it says, "I don't want to own you." And then when you open the card, it says, "But I'm definitely interested in a long-term lease." How romantic. How much better could it have been? I was the landlord for her parents. They loved me, but my family had other plans for me. I couldn't win. I tried everything. One day, my mother comes to my house and she says, "Do you have sex with her?" I said, "Mom, this is America. Yes, this is my girlfriend. I'm in love with her. Yes, I have sex with her." My mother told me, "One day you're gonna have to answer God as to why you had sex with her." Do you believe that? My girlfriend, who had been living in my house for 2 years, and I was planning to marry her, my mother says that to me. I got this bumper sticker. It says, "My mother was the travel agent for guilt trips." This is definitely my mother. She has a way of manipulating you, even though she has no education, but she knows how to manipulate people and get people going. And that's all she did all her life. Then another day, she comes to my house and she says, "Are you happy?" I told her, "Mom, I have a house, I have my own business, I have a car, I have a beautiful girlfriend. Yes, I'm happy." My mother said to me, "You are not smart enough to decide whether you're happy or not. You need to go to a psychologist and have them diagnose you and tell you you're happy." Under her rules, you cannot decide whether you're happy or not. You need other people to diagnose you. After I broke up with Jackie, I would talk to myself, and I always used to say, "Jackie," like I'm talking to her, but she wasn't there, "you don't know how lucky you are not to have a mother-in-law like my mother." You see, my mother would say, all American girls are prostitutes because they have sex before marriage. And you know, we live in America, a free country supposedly, but according to their culture, they find the richest guy they can marry their daughters to, and the daughters are, most of them are virgins. And you see, you're not supposed to do any hanky-panky until the night of your wedding. After you take your vows and sign all the papers, you can do hanky-panky. I tried reasoning with my mother in every way you can think of. I always showed respect to her because, you see, in my Bible there is a 10 commandments, and it says, "Thou shalt respect mother and father." And I was just being a good boy. If I was really smart, I would have gone to the district attorney and gotten a restraining order that would make her not get within 1,000 feet of me, and then maybe I could have lived my life at peace. But I couldn't win, whatever I tried. When I arrived at the airport, they told me two things. One is boy meets girl, boy falls in love, boy marries girl. The other thing that they told me was live for yourself. My mother told me about 10 times throughout my life, we don't live for ourselves, we live for other people. That is contradictory to what I heard when I arrived in this country. You see, my mother wanted to be like a movie star, like Sophia Loren, and show off in presence of all her Iranian friends. When I got married, there were 400 people at the wedding. I invited 7 or 8. My mother invited 392 people. You know, you ask yourself why, because my mother stood in front of me and said to me, you may be getting married, but the wedding is mine. That's the mother I have. Jackie also gave me this glass mug with my name etched on it for my birthday. Jackie also gave me that neon sign that says Isaac. Many of you probably don't know who I am or what I am. I came to America when I was 13 and a half, and that was in 1970. And about 7 years later, I had a hobby. My hobby was honeybees. Raise bees for honey, watch them, the most beautiful insect. And in Los Angeles County, where I'm based, I ended up being called the bee man to the stars. We even went to Lake Havasu with a couple of my friends who had boats. At that time, I didn't have any boats, but we went there. I told all my friends, you guys line up, let me take a picture of you. Take a look at how they posed for my photo. Those were the good old days. I miss those days. One day my mother came in and yelled at Jackie. Now, mind you, Jackie has been living at my house for 2 years. She would walk in, my mother, and she would say, Jackie, go home, leave my son alone. Well, it was unbelievable, and I just couldn't do this to Jackie anymore. So I broke up with Jackie after 5 years. You know, I cried for 2 days. I just lost the love of my life, and I never found another love like that. Believe me when I tell you, I'm okay now. I live a very good life, very happy life. But this was not the American dream that I was searching for. They never told me at the airport that your mother, sister are gonna play pimp for you and find a girl for you to marry. So I was depressed for a few days, and I told myself, I cannot look at Jackie honestly in the face and tell her, Jackie, honey, I love you, and then unleash my mother and sister on Jackie. Jackie was just too innocent. I don't know what happened to Jackie, but I broke up with her, and again I cried for 2 days. I've never cried over any of the other girls that I've dated, but I cried over Jackie. If I had a chance to see Jackie, by the way, I haven't seen her in 40 years, and I've tried to find her, but I've been unable. If I could look at Jackie today, I would say, oh, Jackie, I did it all for you.